Dow's down 1,100 points at this moment in what is shaping up to be a pretty rocky day. Rates are up, the dollar's down. What some have called the Sell America trade is back in full effect. You have the president blasting the Fed chair yet again, refer to him as a loser. You mix it all up, it's just making the markets uneasy.
Stocks are continuing to hemorrhage as uncertainty surrounding Trump's tariffs lingers.
I think we're going to make a very good deal with China.
Why not pick up the phone and call him and make a deal?
Despite claiming, instead, he's escalating tensions with the Fed, insisting Jerome Powell will be fired.
He says he won't leave even if you ask him to.
Oh, he'll leave. If I ask him to, he'll be out of there. If I want him out, he'll be out of there real fast, believe me.
This is significant as the Fed's monetary policy is historically independent of the executive branch, a foundational principle now being tested. With all of this in play, some analysts are warning that the stock market is teetering on the edge of another collapse. At the same time, gold and Bitcoin are breaking out. Why? One reason is that both Wall Street and global markets are now classifying Bitcoin and gold in a different category altogether. In a cryptic post today, Donald Trump tweeted, "He who has the gold makes the rules." Many believe Trump understands Bitcoin's role as digital gold.
This is the steel industry of 100 years ago. It really is. I think you're just in your infancy. I can see it happening. It's already bigger than ExxonMobil. Soon it will be surpassing the entire market cap of silver. It's not bad. How about gold? How about gold? Let's go gold. And one day it probably will overtake gold, but based on the way it's going now, it could very well be a possibility. There's never been anything like it.
The Trump administration seems to have big plans for crypto.
You're embracing crypto, very different from the previous administration. Strategic Petroleum Reserve like for crypto?
Yeah, I think so. We're going to do something great with crypto because we don't want China or anybody else, and not just China, but others are embracing it, and we want to be the head.
Market sentiment is already shifting. While gold has rallied in recent months, many believe Bitcoin is now ready to catch up. Tom Lee of Fundstrat suggests Bitcoin may soon experience a major rally. He believes institutional deleveraging, which previously suppressed Bitcoin, particularly on weekends, is now behind us.
I think Bitcoin earlier this year may have been struggling with some of the deleveraging that was happening for institutional investors.
Just selling what they could.
Yeah, selling what they could, and I think that suppressed Bitcoin, especially over weekends. But now that deleveraging is done, I think that Bitcoin is going to catch up to gold, and Bitcoin's old high was over 110,000. So I think there is a lot of room to catch up as a sort of non-dollar asset.
As for the equity markets, you think stocks are attractive, but uncertainty is still the name of the game, and it's going to persist. You think the high in the VIX, what did you say that was on April 7th, that holds?
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard to match that level of fear again. So I think we're probably past peak uncertainty. I mean, even with this Fed controversy, but I don't know if we're past maximum pain. I think that there's still risk that the economic consequences are going to cause markets to be hesitant, but it's going to be hard to match that fear again. So I think a structural low did take place. Bitcoin's former high was over $110,000. With that in mind, there appears to be significant upside potential as a non-dollar denominated asset.
So the price right now, we got it on the screen, 84,000. Where conceivably could this thing go?
Well, it depends on the time frame, right? I think
based on all that demand.
Yeah, there's tons of people who have all these crazy predictions for what's going to happen in 2025 or 2026. I always say remove the time frame for a second. And if you look at something like gold used to be worth a couple dollars, tens of dollars, hundreds of dollars. Now it's worth thousands of dollars. Bitcoin, same thing. And I think that Bitcoin one day will be millions of dollars. The question is, what is that time frame? Is that a 5-year exercise or is that a 15-year exercise? And so, I'll leave the predictions to somebody else, but I do think that you have an asset that is finite. It is sound money principles in a digital form. I don't know any single asset in the world where the digital version is not more valuable than the analog version. And so if gold is 20 trillion, Bitcoin should be worth more than 20 trillion at some point. It's just how do we get there and what does that time frame look like?
On the equities side, investors still see potential, but uncertainty remains the dominant theme. Some believe the peak in volatility hit on April 7th, and while we might still experience economic pain, the worst of the fear may be behind us. So, is the bottom in? Or is there more downside to come? Tom Lee believes the bottom is in. He anticipates a bit more sideways action in the near term, possibly the last real chance to accumulate at these levels, but thinks there could be multiple positive policy shocks on the horizon. What would that look like? A pullback on tariffs, perhaps. A new trade deal.
You don't think this is going to be the absolute washout that some people are thinking, something similar to past breaks that were really significant. So let me ask you this then, just specifically, does the S&P have a closing bear market low from here? What are we down, 14% now, something like that?
Yeah, I mean, 4,800 was the low we made a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a chance we could be drifting dangerously close to that again in the next couple of weeks, because there's still probably a lot of investors sitting on their hands and there's uncertainty. But on the flip side, I just think that we have to keep in mind that, one, companies are very resilient, and we'll learn about it during earnings season. But we could have a positive policy shock as well.
There is apparently...
What does that mean? Like a backing off of some of the tariffs?
Yes, we could have something that the market sees as a win. Whether it's going to be one of the 15 countries that we have a trade deal with, or a de-escalation with China, which of course overnight didn't seem like that was a possibility, but there is room for a positive policy shock.
Despite the turmoil, BlackRock bought $84 million worth of Bitcoin through its ETF today. Michael Saylor's company acquired another $555 million. Wall Street and institutional investors are clearly buying, while retail investors are either selling or staying out. Need more proof? ARK Invest just added stake Solana to 2 of its international tech ETFs. More ETFs featuring crypto and staking are expected to be approved in the US soon. And every member of the so-called MG7, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Meta, Tesla, and Nvidia, is rumored to be integrating crypto wallets and adopting stablecoins. The pieces are falling into place. Once the stablecoin bill and broader market structure bill pass, this space could transform rapidly.